Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Exodus, the 30th chapter. And thou shalt make an altar of burnt incense upon them, an altar to burn incense upon them, of shittim wood shalt thou make it. So, in addition to the altar of sacrifice, right, within the court, right, you have the tabernacle, which consists here. You have the tabernacle, which consists of the holy place, which has the table, the candlestick. You have the veil, and then you have the Ark of the Covenant in the most holy section. And then outside of the tabernacle, you have the court, and then you have within there the altar of sacrifice, burnt offerings, and so on. And then you have the walls of the court. Now, the Lord is commanding Moses that you also have to create another altar. This altar is not going to be for sacrifice of meats and so on and so forth, right? So it says here, you're going to make another altar. A cubit shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof. 4 square shall it be, so it's going to be a square. And 2 cubits shall be the height thereof. The horns thereof shall be of the same. So similar to the altar of sacrifice, the horns would be attached. They would be a part of the same structure. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, the top thereof, and the sides thereof round about, and the horns thereof, and thou shalt make unto it a crown of gold round about, which is just like the design around the top layer of the altar. And 2 golden rings shalt thou make unto it under the crown of it, by the 2 corners thereof, upon the 2 sides of it shalt thou make it, and they shall be for places for the staffs to bear it withal. So if you notice, majority of these things, the table, the Ark of the Covenant, even the altar of sacrifice, they all have the rings and then staffs or bars to go along with it so you could carry it. Because they weren't stationary in the wilderness. They traveled from place to place, and they would need to pack everything up and then reset up at a new location whenever they moved. And so the staffs were needed in order to carry the altar and so on. Verse 5. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put it before the veil that is by the ark of the testimony. So it's not going to be in the most holy place with the ark. It'll be outside of that, in the holy place. As it says, before the mercy seat that is over the testimony, where I will meet with thee. So this would be the veil. That right there, that's the altar of incense. And then behind the veil, you would have the Ark of the Covenant. Verse 7, and Aaron shall burn thereon sweet incense every morning when he dresseth the lamps. So when he's dressing is like basically maybe refilling like the oils in the lamps and then setting new wicks or whatnot in there so that, you can keep the fire burning. So at that point in time, he would also burn the brand new incense upon the altar of incense. All right. So as it says here, verse 8. And when Aaron lighteth the lamps at even, he shall burn incense upon it. So he burns incense in the morning, he burns incense in the evening. And a perpetual incense before the Lord Yahweh throughout your generations. Ye shall offer no strange incense thereon. So only the holy incense, which the Lord will determine, for himself what that would be like, is what they were allowed to burn upon the altar of incense. You're not supposed to burn strange incense, nor burnt sacrifice, because that altar wasn't for meat. All right. So you're the same kind of burnt sacrifice they did on the altar of sacrifice over here was not to be done on that inner altar. Nor meat offering, neither shall ye pour drink offering thereon. And Aaron shall make an atonement upon the horns of it once in a year with the blood of the sin offering for atonements. Once in the year he shall make atonement upon it throughout your generations. It is the most holy unto the Lord. So basically, he would put the blood upon the horns of that altar once a year, and that would basically, be like a cleansing, as it says, or an atonement. So in the NLT, it says, once a year, Aaron must purify the altar by smearing its horns with blood from the offering made to purify the people from their sin. This will be a regular annual event from generation to generation, for this is the Lord Yahweh's most holy altar. So I'll read that continuing in that part again. Once in the year shall he make atonement upon it throughout your generations. It is most holy unto the Lord Yahweh. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, when thou takest the sum of the children of Israel after their number, so basically kind of like a census, right? And when you take the sum, it means you're getting the total number of them. But this was for, as it's going to specify, a certain age group that would have to do this thing, right? It says, then shall they give every man a ransom for his soul unto the Lord, when thou numberest them, that there be no plague among them when thou numberest them. So to avoid any plagues or any judgments coming down after numbering them, everybody would have to give a ransom. A ransom is something in exchange for, to redeem yourself. Something that wasn't done during the time of King David when the Lord moved them to number Israel. Hence they got that plague upon them, or that judgment by the angel of the Lord. So this shall they give every man, this shall they give, that is the ransom, everyone that passeth among them that are numbered, half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary. A shekel is 20 gerahs, and half shekel shall be the offering of the Lord. So that is what they would basically give once they were numbered. Everyone that passeth among them, or that is numbered, among them that are numbered from 20 years old and above, shall give an offering unto the Lord. So if you're 20 years old and older, you would be required to give this offering, which is that half shekel. The rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less. And that's money, right? Shall not give less than half a shekel. This is in fairness. So this isn't pro rata. This is a specific set amount. When they give an offering unto the Lord Yahweh to make an atonement for your souls. And thou shalt take the atonement money of the children of Israel, and shall appoint it for the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Because remember, these things are not, you require gold, right? You require animals for the sacrifice. You need the water for cleansing. You need anything that you would need for the servicing, right? It costs money as well. So this would be there, and then it would be needed to purchase whatever was needed to allow the priest to be able to service or minister in the tabernacle. And that's what that money would go towards. That it may be a memorial unto the children of Israel before the Lord Yahweh, to make an atonement for your souls. Verse 17, and the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, thou shalt also make a laver of brass. And this laver is like, it was to hold water. So something like this, okay, like a big giant bowl to hold water, made of brass, and his foot also of brass. So the stand of it would be also made of brass, to wash withal. Because remember, when you're sacrificing, of course, you need water for that, but it's going to go into also the other use of it. But there's blood, there's, the place gets dirty and all that. You need water. Okay, you need water. So it says here, and thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and thou shalt put water therein. So if the tabernacle and this is the altar, that's why they have it in this depiction here as being placed right here. For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water, that they die not. So when they go in here to go and minister, right, whatever it is that they're going to go do in there, they got to wash before they go in. As it says, that they die not. Or so that to avoid death, they had to follow exactly this specific ordinance or ritual to, before going inside. Same way Aaron had to have the bells on his garment so that they would announce basically as he was going into the tabernacle. Or when they come near to the altar to minister, so if they came to perform a sacrifice or whatnot, they would have to wash before they did so. To burn offering made by fire unto the Lord. So they shall wash their hands and their feet, that they die not, and it shall be a statute forever to them, even to him and to his seed throughout their generations. So this was a part of the things they needed to do as priests, in ministering to the Lord. You cannot go and perform a sacrifice without washing yourself in the way the Lord is described here, or else he will put you out. Verse 22. Moreover, the Lord spake unto Moses, so in addition, saying, take thou also, now you see why he was up there 40 days and 40 nights, right? Take thou also unto thee principal spices of pure myrrh, 500 shekels, and of sweet cinnamon, half so much, even 250 shekels. So 500 shekels worth of myrrh, 250 shekels worth of sweet cinnamon, and of sweet calamus, 250 shekels. And these were, cents. And of cassia, 500 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, and of olive oil, and hin. So how would they be able to buy this? You needed the money. And thou shalt make it an oil of holy ointment, an ointment compound after the art of the apothecary. So you would basically mix these ingredients together to make this holy, mixture. As it says, it shall be an holy anointing oil. So this mixture is separate, is specific, this combination right here. And an apothecary, let's look into that word, but it's one that deals in these things, perfumes and oil mixtures and so on. Right, it says mixed compound perfumer. Let's look that up here. Apothecary. A person who prepared and sold medicines and drugs. But that's not the only thing they did. But they would be able to mix, different things together. So in this case, what the Lord is likening this onto is, you gotta mix it together. Let me pull up the NLT. Says, like a skilled incense maker, blend these ingredients to make a holy anointing oil. Then the Lord is going to go into why he specifies that it would be holy. And thou shalt anoint the tabernacle of the congregation therewith, and the ark of the testimony, which is also synonymous with the ark of the covenant, and the table and all his vessels, right? That's that table that's in the holy place right there. All the utensils, the vessels, all of those things. And the candlestick and his vessels, and the altar of incense, and the altar of burnt offering, with all his vessels, the pans, the basins, the pots, the flesh hook, and the laver and his foot. And that's the base. And thou shalt sanctify them, that they may be most holy. Whatsoever toucheth them shall be holy. So all these things you can see were needed. These steps were needed before you get to the part where you'd have the priest. You come with a sin offering, then they would handle it and do X, Y, and Z. But this was the starting point, right, of setting it up and sanctifying it and then setting it in motion. And thou shalt anoint Aaron and his sons and consecrate them. And this is why not just anybody could have just gone up there and been like, all right, I'm just gonna, just go be a priest. As it says here, and thou shalt anoint Aaron and his sons and consecrate them, make them holy, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, this shall be an holy anointing oil unto me throughout your generations. Upon man's flesh shall it not be poured, neither shall ye make any other like it. When it says upon man's flesh, here it is, the Lord said, anoint Aaron and his sons. But then he says, upon man's flesh, you're not supposed to pour this. Meaning, this isn't, you can't use this composition, this same type of mixture, as for your personal use. Okay? You putting it upon your neck, your body to smell good. You can't do that. So it was supposed to be a unique scent, all right, or a unique mixture for this purpose, solely for this purpose. That's why it says, neither shall ye make any other like it. After the composition of it, it is holy, and it shall be holy unto you. So Israelite, you were forbidden. You weren't allowed to say, oh, well, I'm gonna look at all the ingredients and then I'm gonna go make my own mixture of it for my personal use. No. Whosoever compoundeth any like it, or whosoever putteth any of it upon a stranger. Here the stranger, the word is a war, but he is referring to anybody that is not consecrated or appointed to be anointed by it, like Aaron and his sons or their descendants. So you're basically anybody that tries to use this oil outside of the holy use it was mixed or created for, shall even be cut off from his people. Okay. Now here it doesn't mention death, right? In some instances it'll say it that they'll be cut off or they shall surely be put to death. So you got to use the context of the verse there, right? And sometimes when it says cut off, it means that they would be like banished or excommunicated from their people. And sometimes it would mean that they would just straight be put to death. So here, this is more likely be one of those where they basically kicked out. They just, you got to get them out of there. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, take unto thee sweet spices, stacked or staked. Let's see how we pronounce that. Pronunciation. Oh, static. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, stack tea, steak tea. Cool, that's good enough for me. All right, and onycha or onica, however that is pronounced, and galbanum, these sweet spices with pure frankincense, for each shall there be a like weight. So it would all the same measurements for each, and you would gather all these together. And thou shalt make it a perfume, a confection after the art of the apothecary, similar to the mixture above that we read about. So it would be mixed with delicacy, or meticulously, tempered together, mixed together, pure and holy. And a confection is like a mixture as well. Let's look into that word. Yeah, spice mixture, perfume, ointment. Verse 36, and thou shalt beat some of it very small. And so you're gonna mix these spices together have a small amount, which would be put of it before the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation, so before the ark, where I will meet with thee. It shall be unto you most holy. So you can only imagine how it the scent that was in the holy place, it would smell real holy, right? With the incense burning, but also with the this, holy perfume or confection that was set in there. And as for the perfume which thou shalt make, ye shall not make to yourselves according to the composition thereof. It shall be unto thee holy for the Lord Yahweh. So just like the anointing oil and this perfume here or this ointment, you weren't supposed to make anything like that, that same mixture for yourselves. Whosoever shall make like unto that to smell thereto shall even be cut off from his people. And that brings us to the end of the book of Exodus, the 30th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Recha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.